What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. So, we're just going to move on past this one. We're just going to pretend like it didn't happen because, this game was kind of an anomaly, right? I mean, it's not like every game we have VAR decisions go again. Oh, wait, we do. Well, it's not like every game we have referees that are kind of biased and, mainly calling things for the other team. Not, wait, we do. Well, it's not like every single game we have chances that we miss. Oh, wait, we do. So it feels like all season we've been dealing with this stuff, and yet we still win games. So what was different tonight? Why did we not have the energy and the passion and the drive to win tonight? That's kind of what I got from all of this. Referees were terrible, per usual. A lot of really bad calls. Acosta's flopping everywhere. Once again, the number 10 on the other team is the most douchey player on the field. But yeah, he's flopping everywhere and getting every single call. Remedy pokes it and then jumps out of the way to avoid a challenge that he thought was coming in. Doesn't even ask for a call. Like, he hops right back up and gets a yellow card for diving. And Barco is about to have a shot. I'm just like, so all of these flops around the field, and you call the one that actually the guy wasn't trying to flop. He was trying to get out of the way, and just the challenge never came in. Do you see the problem here? The penalty for Rooney. Was it a penalty? Probably not, based on what I saw. The angle we had of it wasn't very good, but it looked like Areola just kind of kicked the ground, like he mishit it. And then on top of that, why is there no foul on Miguel in the middle of the field when the guy goes over the ball and takes him out? No foul there leading up to the penalty. VAR? Hello? Hi, VAR. What's your job? To make sure that doesn't happen, to make sure referees don't make mistakes like that. But it happened, and they get the penalty, and now they're the ones in the driver's seat. All of that is a problem, and I'm frustrated with that. But we've dealt with that before this season. We've dealt with problems like that before. We've dealt with bad calls. We've dealt with bad VAR decisions. We've still won most of our games. We've still put in decent performances in those games. And while sometimes we do come off the loser, sometimes we do come out with only 1 point, this is the first time that I've actually felt like we didn't deserve to win. The other games, I felt like, okay, we deserved to win that. We were the better team. Bad decisions from the referee cost us the game. This one, I didn't feel that way. I felt like the bad decisions were there and they were frustrating, and it did kind of affect the momentum of the game overall. But we did not deserve to win that, because we didn't really create a whole lot of chances. We didn't really play with a lot of passion. There are moments where the ball is there to be won, and we're not going to win it. I don't know what happened. I don't know if there was just, maybe they're hungover because they celebrated, beating Orlando and Martinez breaking the record. Maybe that's what happened, and a lot of them were hungover tonight, but that's about the only thing that I can think of that would cause them to play like this. Because there was just a lack of energy in the second half. First half, it was okay. Second half, though, we were never really involved. Obviously, at the end, with the desperation kicking in, we threw on attacking players. We created a few chances near the end. But for the most part, I mean, we were just kind of hoping, driving the ball in, hoping something would fall. Nothing really creative, nothing different, nothing like what we expect to see, no good ball movement. It was just dumped balls in, hoping for the best. And it's not enough. Teams know how to defend against that now. Teams know how to defend against us when we just start dumping the ball in. It's when we start moving the ball around, we actually start creating opportunities from our ball and body movement. That's when we look our best, and that's when it's very, very difficult for teams to defend against us. But when we just kind of resort to I'm going to try to dribble everyone, or I'm just going to get it out wide and I'm just going to dump a ball in and hope for the best. Teams get that very, very easily, and that's when we honestly look our worst. So, I don't know. It was a frustrating game to watch. It made it even more frustrating when my phone gave away the score at halftime for me, because I was watching it on replay. So, yeah, it was overall a very frustrating game from our point of view, from the referee's point of view, from watching on replay point of view. It wasn't a good game. And I hope, I pray that this is not a sign of things to come. Because honestly, tonight should have been it should have been a great night. It should have been we beat DC at their place, at their new place where they've been flying high. We went in there, we handled them easily, no problem. We clinched our playoff berth. We went ahead of New York in the table with a game at hand still. That should have been the story tonight. Not, oh, look how great DC's doing at their new home. They even took down Atlanta United. That shouldn't have been the story. And it's frustrating that that's what it ended up happening. Was everybody's now talking about DC because look how great they are. You know, with new stadium and they're flying and they're doing fantastic and oh, they're going to be a good team again. Nobody really cared about DC until they got the new stadium and they got Rooney in. And so the fact that they're the talking point tonight is frustrating to me because that we should have been in control of this game. We should have been the ones controlling our destiny tonight, not letting them control what happens. So a lot of this frustration, it's hard to really pick out individuals for the most part. I mean, there are a couple that I can say definitely had a solid game. And then there are a couple that I can say made a few mistakes. So, I don't know. It's hard for me to really look at this individually. Because you look at Guzan, he definitely made some good saves. But you look at the first goal, why is he guessing? You look at the third goal, probably should have gotten something on that. I mean, it was pretty close to him. So the fact that both of the goals, I mean, all Acosta had to do was just cut it back to the near post, and that was enough to beat him. Like, he was just sat down on the ground both times. I'm just like, you should do better there. Like, that should be a save, or it should at least, you should get close to it. You should get a little flick on it, and if it still goes in, well, then it's just a good shot. The first one probably should have been a goal, even if he had gotten over to it. Second one, though, I mean, that should be a save. That's like, you're right here, and the ball's just right here, right next to you, but because you're guessing this way, now all of a sudden you're beat. So, moments like that, you know, mostly throughout the game, I thought he played well. I thought he did well. I thought he made good saves. I thought he was very aggressive and trying to get the team into it, which was great. But then those moments, I'm just like, those are bad mistakes. They give up goals. You look at Perez and Parkhurst in the middle. Perez, I mean, for the most part, had some good slide tackles, had some good moments defensively. But then on all three goals, I mean, I think he could easily be responsible for all three. You know, losing track of runners, not closing down chances quick enough. I mean, the first goal, all you have to do is just put pressure on him. I mean, just really put pressure on him, but you stand off. He's going to take that space and have a shot, no problem. You've got to put pressure. You've got to actually step in. You've got help behind you. Just make sure he doesn't get inside of you. You know, force him back out wide. Don't stand off and give him about 3 yards of space because he's going to have a shot. And then on, you know, most of the other chances I can think of, players are getting in behind him. And I will talk about Chris McCann, I guess, in tandem with this, because you should be talking to him and saying, hey, let's get back more. Because frankly, he was way too far up on way too many occasions. There's so many moments in this game where I can think of where it's just like, you've got the 3 defenders, and then Gressel's getting back sometimes. But Chris is hardly ever getting back. He's most of the time up the field and then not tracking back. And I'm sorry, you've got to do both. You can't just do one. You can't just get up in the attack and not expect to defend, because it's not going to work. I mean, they're going to flood players forward. There are so many times like Perez had to step out wide because nobody's there. Nobody's tracking back and helping cover those wing players. So now our center back is being pulled out wide. That causes issues. And yet, for some reason, in Chris's mind, that didn't click. It didn't hit him that, oh, maybe I need to get back and defend too. He's still jogging back. So, yeah, I think defensively tonight, we were kind of all over the place on that side. Not really in communication, not really hooked up, working together. It was mainly just McCann doing his own thing, Perez doing his own thing, and that's why they ate us up on that side all night long. And then you look at Parkhurst, honestly, probably the one solid player. And so, of course, he's the one that gets subbed because we're stupid. I mean, very, very hard worker, obviously. I mean, that's without a doubt. A very smart player, obviously. That's without a doubt. And all-around great defender. Why would you pull him out? Explain to me how that makes sense. Because I get you just went down a goal. I get that now you're down 2-1. You need to make an attacking switch. I understand that. That's not the one to make. That's the one that leaves you susceptible in the back because now you've taken out your leader from the back three, back two, really. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. That in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, we need to make an attacking switch. Let's get probably Jeff or maybe even Eric off. Let's get one of the two defensive midfielders off and add an extra striker. That's a good switch. But he took off our best defender and put on Kevin Kratz. You see the problem there? am I the only one that sees the problem there? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Why Kevin? Don't get me wrong, I have no problems with Kevin. I think he's a hard worker and I appreciate the hard work he puts in. But quality-wise, what's he bring to the field? Okay, well, you get a free kick, he's going to have a good free kick. Okay, well, the ref's not giving you free kicks, though. He's giving free kicks to them, not to us. Why did you want to bring on a free kick taker? I mean, yes, he nearly got one at the end, but at that point it was already 3-1, so, okay, consolation goal, great. But that doesn't make sense. If you want to make a really attacking switch, you bring on Romario first. You put on your extra striker first. You don't bring on your kind of attacking mid. I mean, there's not even really a way to quantify what position he plays. He just kind of, you need him somewhere in the midfield, he's going to play somewhere in the midfield. So why bring him on? What does he bring? What is he bringing to the field that is going to help us in this scenario when we're a goal down and we need one? Nothing I can really think of. So that was a weird switch. And then Gressel at right back, kind of just there. You know, he didn't really do anything special tonight. He didn't have any of his crosses that makes me think, oh, that's why he's in there. I mean, I think right back is a little bit better position for him because it's kind of like right wing back where he's nice and out wide and can just get out there and have a cross. But crosses tonight just weren't good enough. Even though he's getting in good positions and he's putting himself in a position that's dangerous for them and now they have to mark him. And it is moving them around, don't get me wrong. And I think that's why in the first half we had so much joy on the ball is because he and Chris did provide the width, which allowed us to swing it and cause them to have to move. But then second half, the possession started getting sloppy. You know, the ball would get out there and he just kind of cross it in, hope for the best, not really finding anyone. Or he'd take a bad touch and now all of a sudden the chance is gone. So, I don't know, it seemed like kind of an average night for him overall. Because he did a couple of good things and he did a couple of bad things. It just kind of balances out. In the midfield, Eric, honestly don't remember much from him aside from, you know, obviously the flop. But, I mean, defensively, attacking-wise, he did scuff several shots. So maybe don't shoot in the future if you're not a shooter. But, yeah, I can't think of anything he did really on either side of it that, I mean, honestly, at all, I can't think of anything he really did well or poorly. So I just don't remember him being out there. Jeff, kind of back and forth, you know, good goal, but also got beat for the first goal. I don't know. He's a good player, and we've seen that several times. So it's hard to really say anything bad about him. However, he was beat a couple times on the speed side of things. So you can see where that speed does hurt him a little bit, and I think that's why we've got to get Darlington back to full fitness as quickly as possible. I know it's not looking likely he's going to make it back, but we really do need him because Eric's not providing anything in the midfield anymore, and we need speed in there, and Darlington has that speed. So, I mean, that's just, it's the truth of it. You know, Jeff's a great player, but if there's a lot of speed in the midfield, there are times when he struggles with that, and it happened a couple times today. So, into the front three behind Joseph, Ezekiel on the left side. Honestly, yeah, no. No. Just nothing from him today. Really frustrating because he has a lot of quality, and we've seen that, but I mean, the first half was okay from him. I'm not saying he didn't do anything, but the first half was about the only thing I remember. You know, he created a few chances. He had a couple shots which were pretty good. Second half, he did nothing at all. I mean, if he did anything, he was giving the ball away. So, Yeah, I mean, just not for a player who's been out of the team for so long and then came back last game, performed pretty well. You bring him back in this game starting and just does nothing in the second half at all to help you. Not a good sign. You know, just when you need him to step up, he doesn't. And that's why we signed him, for him to step up when we need him to. Tito on the other side, I've had this problem with Tito before. Last year and a little bit this year, there are these few games every now and then where he just kind of has these droughts where his passes aren't good. He's taking random shots that he has no business taking, and not good shots either. And he's just dribbling into absolutely nothing and giving the ball away way too much. This was one of those games. It doesn't happen every game. There are some games when he's just on fire, absolutely tearing teams apart. But then there are games like this where he's just absolutely awful. And honestly, I can't think of much that he did positive tonight. So, yeah, it's just one of those games for him where he just all of a sudden, out of nowhere. And then Miguel, worked very hard for most of the game, and I appreciate the hard work. But kind of similar to last season, the games where we got frustrated and he got frustrated and he started trying to do things all on his own, that happened again tonight. When we started getting frustrated second half, obviously got kicked the crap out of, which, why haven't they invented like an orange card yet, for fouls like that one on Miguel for Moreno? I mean, just literally not even trying to play the ball, just kicks the crap out of his trailing leg and trips him up in the middle of the field. Gets a yellow for it, great, but I mean, that's frustrating. You're just doing that to piss him off. I mean, for me, it's a yellow card for the challenge because he's breaking away, and a yellow card for the fact that it's almost taunting the way you took him out like that. Anyway, done talking about the referees already. But I know he's getting frustrated, but there are moments when you've got to just put that frustration aside and say, you know what, what's best for the team right now? I've got to play. I've got to get players involved, I got to help them get involved, and he doesn't do that. When he gets frustrated, it's all, I put the head down and I got to dribble, I got to take people on, I got to do this. Like he's got to do it all himself, and he just dribbles into 6 players and loses it. So I hate when he gets in that mindset. Honestly, he hasn't done that a whole lot this season, so the fact that he did it again tonight is frustrating because we don't need that tonight. And then Joseph, like I said, maybe he went and got drunk after he broke the scoring record because, I don't know, nothing tonight. He had that one chance that he absolutely scuffed. And aside from that, didn't really do much to help us, defensively is honestly what I remember most from him. He was winning all those defensive headers on corners. That's about the only thing I can remember from him tonight. So, I hope it's not something where he's just like, I broke the record, so I'm good now. No, we still need to win games. I would prefer to win the Supporters' Shield, please. So he's got to step it back up for the next game because tonight was not good enough. And I feel like for most of them, they'll look at this and say tonight was not good enough because it really wasn't. It was poor from a lot of these players that have been playing really well most of this season. And as far as the subs are concerned, I already talked about Kevin a little bit. Just seemed like a strange sub at the time, and honestly didn't do enough to justify why you brought him on. Romario and George Bello making his MLS debut tonight. They came on as the second subs. I'm not really sure why George Bello. He had a few crosses that I remember. One of them was okay. One of them was really bad. I don't know. It seemed like a strange sub. You're bringing on this kid in a situation where you're a goal down. You're bringing on this kid that's never played in the MLS before, and you've got another kid on the bench that has. And don't get me wrong, Andrew Carlton, he's shown that he has some quality, but he doesn't quite have enough quality, but he's got a lot of energy, and that's what we needed tonight. We needed somebody to come on with a lot of energy and inspire the players around them with that energy, and George Bello did not do that. He just kind of went out there and, stayed out in the wing for a little bit. And then Romario didn't really, He should have come on as the first sub, honestly. It should have been him, not Kevin. He came on, didn't really have much time to get that integrated. I don't know. It was such a weird game because we've been on a nice, good run. We've done really well. We've been playing well. And then just out of nowhere, this game just felt so awful. Nothing like what we've been seeing, nothing like the quality, the intensity, the energy, nothing like what we've been seeing for this season. I'm just like, where did this come from? Like I said, maybe it was because Martinez broke the scoring record. Maybe they were just like, hey, good job, let's all go have a party. And now, because of that, they're still hungover because I don't know. But it's got to be better. We're 1 point behind Red Bulls with a game in hand, which is great, which means we are now in charge of our destiny. But, we can't just give away points like this. We can't drop all 3 points in games like this. If we're going to drop points on the road, a draw. But losing like this, especially 3-1 in a game where we were in charge for most of the first half, and then we just kind of said, here you go, DC, have the rest of the game. That's not good enough. And it's a sign that things have the possibility of dropping off. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want to finish this season like we did last season where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we had a great season, and then just lost, draw, lost type of thing. We don't want to end like that because now we're going to the playoffs with that kind of momentum. So, anyway, with all that being said, those are my thoughts on tonight's game. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Or your thoughts on the game. Let me know what you can talk about, discuss, all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe if you should Monday Night Reviews. I'll see you guys in the next game. Peace out.